All right, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, Brenda McCain. How you doing? I haven't done that in a long time, so I just wanted to zing that out there. Baby, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
You feeling good? Are
With
you?
coughs and all, I'm
Yeah,
feeling
we
good.
got that cough still going on. We got to take you to a doctor.
We got an
See if
appointment.
Dr. Kevorkian can work on you a little bit. Perhaps having some fun is relaxing. But I would tell you something. Speaking of the doctor, this whole week it was rough for me because after Wednesday I came home shivering from this flu bug, and I think I was in the house until Monday. I had missed a play that we wanted to go see, but I was just drained, and this thing still is attached to me. Like I need to go to divorce court to get rid of it. It's just lingering, and I know a lot of people out there have had that has been sick with this flu, and some people depends on what it is. Some have stomach flu, but mine wasn't that. It was just more head and just weakness, and I typically don't get sick, which is interesting because most of the times I joke around and I'll say I don't take sick days. I take sick of days because I'm typically not, I don't really get sick, but that thing attached to me, and I'm telling you, I was gonna go and judge Wapner. Dun, dun, dun. We got to find a way to get this thing away from us. But everything else, doing great. We got a birthday coming up tomorrow. I want to celebrate it. We won't be on the air. We won't be on the air tomorrow, so we're celebrating Brenda's birthday. It'll be tomorrow, March the 12th. Happy birthday, baby.
I'll be the big 5'9".
You be a big 5'9". The big 5'9". I thought it was a big 5'5".
It's big when you get older. Any birthday.
It's like the big 60. It's always with the
Big
5'9".
5'9", because you're just grateful
5'9".
to be here. Yay!
Yeah.
God's willing, wake up tomorrow feeling good. Happy, happy, happy birthday!
Looking good for calling on 59. I'm telling you.
I hope so.
You still look like you in your 30s over there.
Yeah, I don't be lying to me,
No,
but
you're over there right now. Yeah, you do.
I'll take it.
I've seen you when you looked like you was 70, but right now.
We didn't ask for the jokes tonight.
We gonna have some fun. I just just relax and
Okay, we just gonna
enjoy,
roll
but,
through it.
but
yes, I'm grateful to be seeing another birthday.
Yeah.
God's willing, wake up to see another one. But I do want to say, I lost my first cousin, beautiful young lady. That's one of our older cousins. Loved her to death. Well, love her to life. Sorry about that. But anyway, condolences going out to Debbie Price, my cousin, first cousin. We'll miss her. Her birthday is on the 18th. We always had this thing every year. Her and two of my other Pisces cousins to connect with each other. You don't talk all year long. We'll talk in the month of March. So prayers are going up for the family, waiting on arrangements to see what we're going to do.
All right. So, hey, we got a great show coming today. We're going to be talking about Christian Rio, making God bigger than your problems. We got Keisha Campbell is going to be coming on. She's going to be talking about, I think it's Beautiful Living. Mm-hmm. Beautiful Living. She's going to be talking about that. And we've got for Why Did I Get Married? Having fun in an aging marriage. That's going to be us because we've been married for over 30 years here. Going on 31 soon, right?
31 years.
We passing the clips of the 30s, huh? Total eclipse of the heart.
I like that.
So we're going to have some great shows here, and we got some great music as well. We want to give a shout out to our producer, the Rockford Goat, who makes this show possible. Thank you very much. Shout out to Soar Radio, 2-time Stellar Award winner for Best Internet Station of the Year. Hey, we're going to go on. We don't have anything else we're going to do, and I want to make sure we can get our guests in right around the time about 7:30. So, baby, I already said something about making God bigger than your problems. And I brought this up because I witness a lot of times people are, always focusing so much on their problems. And that they place themselves in a situation where they make that problem much bigger than what it is. And I use my example of an analogy today with coming home from work. It takes so much longer to come home from work than it does to go to work. But then I get into this traffic and then I start getting frustrated And I'm like, I'm mad about it, and it's taking too long. And then God said something to me, and said, you have to remember, you went into the problem. It wasn't that the problem came to you. You went into the problem. And I thought about that for a second. I'm like, wow, there are so many people, babe, that walk into a problem and they make that problem bigger than God because they decided to, hear this, not listen to God about the prevention of not walking into the problem. I mean, there are other ways that I could have went home. Now, it probably would have been just as bad that way too. But I made the decision to take that expressway to go into the traffic. You know, if I wanted to go different ways, there were other ways you can go home and try to beat the traffic. But it was my decision to go in there. And so I get into the problem, and then I get frustrated about the problem and not recognizing that I had an option to step away from the problem or go to God to make sure that the problem can be resolved before I actually walked into it. And I think there's so many people, the reason why you feel that your problem is bigger is because you are the one that walked into it. Give an example. You knew that your spouse was an issue before you married him. He was an issue as a boyfriend. He was an issue as a child.
The family, y'all could have told me.
The family. Vanessa told Brenda all the time, you got something that you're gonna be dealing with something over there. That boy there, yeah. I don't know why she say that, but she says that. That's gonna be a problem. You walking into a problem. I'm just letting you know. He's a good person, but you walk. So we know sometimes that we're walking into a problem. You knew that before you got that car, you couldn't pay that car note. You knew it was too much money, but you had to have that car. And now all of a sudden you can't pay your other bills and you're frustrated because now you've made that problem bigger. Even though you denied hearing God say, hey, don't do this. You're walking into a problem. You knew that mortgage was going to be too much, but you wanted that beautiful house. You knew that job was too far, Rick, but you took it. And so these are the things that happen sometimes, baby, is that we walk into our problems and therefore we make the problems bigger, even though God can still change the problem and help us through it. We wind up walking into it and making it bigger than what it would have been if we would just listen to God.
And basically what you're saying is you chose that. This is your fault. But God was trying to talk to you and you didn't think it was God. That's because you ain't studying, hearing his voice or reading the Bible or praying. But if you do that, you will know God's voice. But you decided to step out and not wait on God and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on my own because I want that Rick so bad. And everybody else, and God said, no, not yet. Let's take a pause. Take a pause. Yeah. 31 years later,
they
I'm
said,
doing
run,
you.
Forrest, run.
And she did, and now she's like, oh, I got her.
Yeah.
No, we just using an example for you guys. But that's how it usually happens that way. Yeah. You're not listening to God to guide you, to tell you what to do, because it's like, he taking too long. And women, we got that problem real bad. You want a man, then when you get him, God, why you didn't warn me? You was taking too long. I didn't tell you to marry such and such, such. You chose to do that. So we make the problems bigger than what they are.
Well, and God is always bigger than our problems, but the issue is that we don't seek his wisdom and guidance first. Mm-hmm. We want to fall in love. This is the right one, and we don't take the time to see if this is the way God wants us to move. Another example I'm going to use is that we make our problems bigger than God by deciding that we're going to try to resolve them before we go to God. So God is bigger than our problems. He can do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask or think. But we want to sit there and try to solve the problem before we go to God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. We don't do that. We seek first what we want to do. We get self-indignant, self-righteous. We think we have all of the answers. And then when it messes up, then we want to go to God because the problem has gotten too big for us. Well, the problem was never too big for God. It was always too big for you. You cause a lot of your problems because you want to sit there and make the decision on what you should do. And I'm talking to Christians. The rest of y'all, you haven't accepted Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. You can do so now by saying, Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and Savior, and I live my life according to your will. And now you got a God that's bigger than your problems. But what we do a lot of times, babe, is that a problem comes up, and we will get so bothered by it. It could be the smallest things. Have you ever seen a person, or have you yourself, have you ever had a problem and then you went back and started thinking about all the other problems that you had? And so now you compound that problem and you've made it bigger than what the problem was. And so now you're focusing so much like, I'm so tired. This always happens to me. I don't know why. I'll be honest with you. I was saying it today because I try to switch over different traffic and stuff like that. And every time I move into one lane, the other lane starts moving faster. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why is this happening? I'm trying to beat the traffic by moving into another lane, but yet the other lane the lane I'm in now starts moving slow, and then the lane that I left is moving faster. What am I trying to say? You left God when you decided you wanted to take the lane and make the decision yourself. You wanted to be the one that made the decision. You left God behind, and so all of a sudden now the thing starts moving in another direction, and the problem that you had is staying still or getting bigger, and now you want to come to God and say, I wish God would help me with this. Well, you should have thought about that in the first place. God is bigger than our problems. But the problem is that God is not going to remove you as the problem, because you are the one that is causing the problem by trying to make the decision on your own and not go to God and say, hey, God, I need some help with this.
So you think God is going to have us go through the situations, the problems, as we call it, where it could be a teachable moment that we're learning something that we could depend on Him and not take things in our matters in our own hand?
It could be, and it also could be that God has given us free will, and so He's gonna let you mess up so you can fess up. God is not going to take away our free will. You have the free will to come to God in prayer with everything. You have that ability to do that, but the problem is we don't do that. You got a big God in a small problem, because every problem to God is small. But because we decide we want to challenge it on our own, I'm a child of God. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I mean, we quote those scriptures, and then that problem sits there and say, okay, well, that's great.
I'm about to test you.
You're doing that now at church at 11 o'clock, 12:45. When
I
hit you with a problem again, you ain't gonna. I just came to church praising God, and here's another problem. Yeah, because you forgot to go to God. Yeah. The Bible says, and I say this all the time, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It never says that no weapons are not going to come against you. It just said that when they formed against you, they won't prosper if you come to God. And so, yes, God is bigger. So what do we do in that situation? We don't focus on the problem. We focus on the problem solver.
Yeah.
And if we go to God and say, hey, one of the wonderful things that happened to me was I was able to cast all of my cares upon the Lord and leave them there. To be able to rid myself from issues. It doesn't mean I don't think about it. There are times that it does trouble me. But I know where to go when that problem arises. Because I know that problem can be much bigger if I didn't go to God. Give me an example. I'm giving an example that doesn't have God, but it talks about God. We was having some problems here with the lights flickering and stuff like that. And every time the washing machine or something come on, the lights would flicker, flicker. And I thought, my goodness, we're going to have to put a whole fuse box in there. That thing's gonna cost about $2,000-3,000 and stuff. And I called, this friend of mine who knew a friend who was an electrician, and so he came to the house and stuff like that. And he went down there and he says, "Hey, check your lights now." And I'm like, "Okay." It wasn't blinking anymore. Wash machine running is not blinking. Nothing's blinking. He says, "You just had some wires loose." He said, "I just tightened the wires up," and he charged me $65. What am I saying? Sometimes there's some wires loose in our decisions that we try to make on our own. And God can strengthen that. God knows how to tamper with. God knows exactly what wires needs to be checked, corrected, removed. But yet, because we try to do it or we worry about it, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to cost about $2,000-3,000. I got some money saved up, but I don't want to put it in here because I want to do something else. But I went to someone, excuse me, that was bigger than my problem. He had the knowledge on what to do. And thankfully, he was honest. Let's not even go there, but he was honest. And he was able to resolve the issue for me for something I thought was going to be huge. He was able to handle it and charge me little or nothing. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was so happy. But what was important, Brenda, is I didn't try to do it myself. I went to someone that I knew that could handle it. And the reason why we make our problems bigger is because we don't go to God with them. We try to solve them ourselves, or we just worry about them themselves. I could have sat there just worried about that, like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm worried about it might be a spark. The house might catch on fire. So this guy came in here in less than 20 minutes, fixed the thing, tightened it up, and he gone. And so we need to go to God because God is bigger than our problems. And we need to go to God before we make our problems bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that happens to us the most that causes the biggest problems in our lives is us.
Yeah. We're the ones that's blocking our blessing until we get how this works. We're always going to block our blessings because one thing I do love about Rick is that when he know he can't do something, he have no problem.
No
Unlike
problem.
a lot of other men that feel like I could fix this, I could do it, and then you out of more money. But God gave you the gift of discernment. You're close to God. It's like you can't do this. Let me send somebody to you. It doesn't lessen all the qualities that he have that he could do certain things. It just for a woman. That's the biggest, I'm going to say this because we married, the biggest turn on. Because it's like, hey, my baby ain't stupid. He know he can't fix this. Like with the radio show. We
Yeah.
got the GOAT.
Yeah, we got Kitty.
He's like,
I'm
I
like,
can't do this. I can't. So let's just solicit out the GOAT, which is our guy, Kenneth Crawford. Everyone knows him on our end as the Rockford GOAT. But
That's
it's
my
like,
title. Don't take it away. I gave him the Rockford Goat.
okay.
Nobody else gave him that. I gave him the Rockford Goat. But it's true. You're right. I mean,
Yeah. So
Kitty
kudos
makes-
to you for
yeah,
that.
I mean, there were times if something went out on the radio show, we were done.
Yeah.
Kitty
We
can
was
fix the thing
like-
on the fly. We still be talking sometimes, or something goes out. Hey, I got to do this. Give me 5 minutes. I wouldn't be able to do that.
But you know what? Going back to the flickering of the lights, well, this was going on for years, right? We like, what is that? And then of course,
I wouldn't say years, but it's been going on for a while.
well, a year then.
Yeah.
Well, I could just say with the flickering of the lights and stuff, looking at certain stuff on TV. Oh, it's a ghost. I don't believe in ghosts. So somebody trying to connect with you when your lights flicker, and I'm like,
Jesus, you went there?
no, they talk about that stuff.
Oh, really?
But then
Wow.
I
Okay.
said, there's something I heard on TV was too much electricity pulling on something. I said, now that sounds logical because whenever we wash clothes or did something, it'll flicker.
And,
So
I,
I'm
and I
like,
thought it might
okay.
have been, too much wattage on one thing, so I was trying to see how that was going to work, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, what can be done? But the good thing about it is I've got a network of some good people that I can go to. If I've got some plumbing work I need, if I got some electricity work I
Right.
need, if I, anything like that. I've got some good people that I can go to that respect that I'm in the ministry as a preacher, and they will come over to help me. I can call Lance at any time, and Lance will come over, and will help me. We've got I think I got his name now.
Dutch.
Dutch, yeah. Dutch he's something else. But when he comes over,
sweetest thing,
he's the sweetest
grumpy.
thing in the world. And if he tells you he's going to charge you $40 and you try to give him more money, he ain't going to take it. Nope, yeah. I told you $40. That's it. And he will do everything he can to help you out. And it's just nice to have that kind of thing. But it's again going back to not making my problem bigger. Uh-huh. God gave me some wisdom to know who to go to and provide people that are going to be honest and trustworthy that can help me. Right. And so instead of making the problem bigger or trying to think that I can do it on my own, I mean, there are some things I can do. If I watch you one time, I can figure it out. I ain't touching the electric socket board. I'm like, no, that can cause too much problems. I never like working with water because it always beats me. But, I can, you show me how to do something one time. Hey, okay, I got that. But if it's something I'm like, this is a little bit beyond my pay grade, I'm not going to tackle that. I'm just going to contact people that I know that can. And again, thank you to God for bringing people into the life that can help you. And that's another thing. We have to realize that we make our problems bigger when we don't decide to use God's wisdom that he has given to others.
Yeah.
We use Kenny as an example. This show runs much smoother, 1,000 times smoother with Kenny producing the show in the background, making sure everything works. It's simple to him. It was like too big for me. But using that knowledge of someone else, God has given them the wisdom to make something that may be a problem for you not a problem. So God is big enough that he'll allow his wisdom to be attached to others that can be able to help you through a problem. And so don't be ashamed to go to people that has the wisdom to help you. I'm not talking about go to your girlfriend that's always going to be on your side. Like, girl, yeah, you need to dump him, blah, blah. No, I want you to go to somebody like, well, girl, think about this for a second. Somebody's going to have some wisdom when they're talking to you about something instead of just making a rash decision. And sometimes we don't want to go to God's wisdom-based people that can help us with some of the problems that we have in our life. Spiritual counselors, preachers, pastors, evangelists, people, that will really sit down there. You got Evangelist Brenda over here, that'll sit down and listen to you. When she's not Betty Shabazz, she's got those hats that she be wearing. But, you've got to be able to do that. So the topic was, making God bigger than your problems. It's simple. You make God bigger than your problems by going to God when you have a problem.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You make God bigger than your problems when you go to God with your problems.
People have to listen to that because your title, and I know what you're saying, and it just is so profound. The title is Making God Bigger Than Your Problem. Instead of making your problem so big that you don't think God will solve it.
Yeah.
So people have to understand, if you get in a line with God and understand the Bible, read the Bible, trust God, and just lay it all down. I know that's hard for us to do, but to lay it all down and say, God, you got this. Because I've learned with my recent years that you don't have to keep praying to God about the same thing. He could hear pretty well. He could hear it one time and work on it, but we're thinking he ain't moving fast enough. Let me go back to him again. And that's fine too. But to just keep going on and on. God, you hear me down here. You see what's going on down here. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. He got this. Just focus on him and let him do the work. If we could just adapt that, we would be okay. Because like now I'm listening to so many people. We know what's going on in the world. But as Christians, we have to stay steadfast and continue to pray because any little thing will set that individual off to cut something down or cut that out. But we're making that problem bigger than our God. If we root it in the Word and we saying prayerful and we're talking to God. Like a lot of people, I always when I talk to younger women, I always let them know, stop thinking that you can't talk the way you talk to me to God. You don't have to be, thus thou God, I love you in script. Talk to God the way He made you, He created you. He know what Brenda sounds like. He know Brenda gonna go off the cuff sometime and gonna say, I'm gonna reel it in, but I'm gonna let her get her spill out. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going, this is a new adaptation for me. I don't want to make my problems bigger than what I know God can solve. I know there's issues out there. I'm trying not to stress on it. I'm just going to take it to Him. And as you were saying earlier, take it to Him. No worries. Just leave it on the altar to Him. Do what you need to do because it's so not worth stressing when you could pray to God.
Yeah, and the reason why we got to go on because we got to get our guests in here at 7:30. But the reason why it says making God bigger than your problems, it's not that God is not bigger than your problems. It's you having an issue making Him bigger than the problem. It's you. You need to make God in your life bigger than your problems. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You have to be the one who says, God is bigger than any problem I have, and I have no fear to worry about because God will take care of everything. Hey, we're going to go on and play some music here. And speaking of bigger, of course, you know I had to get my girl Jacqueline Carr song out there, Bigger. And you're going to hear that and a couple of commercials. And when we come back, we'll be speaking with Keisha Campbell from Living, Beautiful Living. This is Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo. Listen up to this music, commercials. We'll be right back. All right. What's the stories you got for us?
Okay, I was responding to Miss Carrie. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right. We got to get her back on this show. So I'm
She's going to be featured in Club 50 next week.
Well, nobody asked about that. I'm talking about on this show. This is Let's Stay Together Talk.
Well, she knows she welcome home
Yeah.
anytime she
I
wants
got
to
to get her back on here again.
But,
Soon.
and Jean, I want to slight you. Thank you for joining us. That's Lisa's mama, Lisa Jenkins.
Okay. All
I mean,
right.
Risa Jenkins. I'm sorry, boo. Risa Jenkins. This story, Trump is, I could say, at it again. After Trump threatens new tariffs on Canada, officials agree to renegotiate. Wow. Canada, I did not know Canada holds a lot of our electricity. So the after back and forth tariff threats, this is getting crazy. They sent markets sharply lower today. The Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Ontario Premier Doug Ford said they would meet again. In response, Ontario agreed to suspend its 25% surcharge on electricity for Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. Trump, on the other hand, said he threatened 50% on the country's aluminum and steel, a sharp escalation in the war that we going on back and forth. Now, Trump, I guess he said, well, we're going to raise it up higher if you don't do what we want. And then Ford shut it down, so to speak, to say, I just cut it off. Now, see, you're playing with lives here, Trump. You're playing with what's going on in America. And I guess you just don't care. But it's getting, I don't know, Rick, it's just getting so sad. Everything is a negotiation with him. But if you don't play by his rule, this is Trump. You don't play by his rule, I'm going to shut all of it down. And I guess he was shocked when Ford said it first. But it's getting kind of weary, but we're going to take that to God. That's what we're going to do. That this is another episode of what chess is being played. I just said to you, babe, this is getting kind of...
But I mean, you still talking, so I'm waiting.
Let me stop.
Are you going to let me in or something?
Come on,
bring
jump
me
on
into
in.
the show? I mean, I think I was just laughing because I was thinking about Trump's number one song has to be Oops, I Did It Again. I played with your heart. I'm not that innocent. I mean,
You really thought that's too
he is
good for
playing
him.
around with this stuff where he's, putting on tariffs and he's pulling them back and he's, rescinding them and he says, I'm going to put them back again. I'm going to do the. I mean, I was laughing because I think I heard one of the late night talk shows. He said Trump thinks a tariff is something like tear off a piece of that pizza and give it to me. You know, he's playing with people's lives, and a lot of these people now are seeing that Trump really didn't care about them. We've been trying to tell them all the time, but he's throwing in these tariffs that are hurting a lot of companies. He's allowing people to be fired, which doesn't goes through Democratic and Republican lines. All these people are losing their jobs, and they are getting upset about it because like, wait a minute, we put you in there to help, and the only thing he's doing now, they're talking about with all these tariffs and the things that he's doing, it might bring up a recession. And I mean, we don't want to have that again. It almost seems like when Republican comes into the office, we go through a recession. And so,
Yeah, and then they get mad at us if the Democrat get back in it. They didn't took the recession. They didn't made the world look bad. It's you guys. We trying to clean up from you guys,
yeah,
but
it's that song, money, money, money. It's just greed. It doesn't affect him. And see, there's a lot of times, even in finance, you could have the Dow Jones could drop and people can make money off of that because they can get a stock at a lower price that they will eventually think that it'll go back up. Because if you do something and the Dow Jones drops and a stock drops because of that, then I can make the decision to do this, and then that stock could come back up, and then I can get a part of the stock and make money from it. I mean, it's all a game that they're playing because it's not really hurting them with things that people are losing because they feel that they can make money off of the loss. And he doesn't really care about other people and what's going on in their relationships and their lives because he just wants to be able to rule the world. If I rule the world. So he's trying to rule the world, and it's unfortunate, but hey, I'm sitting up there still saying to people, what did you expect? I mean,
yeah.
you put him in there. You didn't think that you put Pandora box out. You let him out the box again for 4 years, and he just started. He's calling calling hell. So hey, ride out the wave because Satan is in the White House, and he is bringing his minions in.
Did you say minion?
Yeah. And we got about maybe 15 seconds before we go back to Soar Radio. For those of you all who listen to us on YouTube and Facebook, stand with us. All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain. We have our guests coming on the show, but before I go to, I just want to make sure that you all check out the JD Morning Show each Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. only on Soar Radio. You'll hear Justin Kennedy again talking about amazing topics just like we do here. And also, if you want to have your own radio show on Soar Radio, you can go to soar at soarradio.com. That's soar at soarradio.com. Baby, who is this esteemed woman that we have on our show today that's going to help out the ladies? I don't know what you're going to do for me. I'm going to find out, Keisha. But I want to know what you want to do for a brother, too. But we're going to let her tell a story about who you are, and she's excited to meet you. So talk to us.
I want to give you the proper introduction, but I want to know, how do you pronounce your first name?
Kisa.
Kisa?
Yes, Kisa.
Kisa. Okay.
Oh, okay, not Keisha, but Kisa.
No,
Kisa.
Kisa.
Okay,
Yes.
well, let me get this to you then. This is Women's Month, and we have a dynamic individual on here. I am so proud of you. This is my first time meeting you. Her backstory is just phenomenal. So I'm saying for Women's Month, yay, we have Kisa. That's pretty. Kisa Campbell with
Thank
us
you.
tonight. She's a certified life business. It's going to be a minute, so sit back. Certified life, business, and beauty coach, speaker, author, purpose pusher, life strategist, CEO of Beautiful Living, and host of Beautiful Living with Kisa Show. This girl is a bad sister. So Welcome to the McCain train.
Thank
My
you,
husband
guys.
be finding me some good females. I'm like, she pretty too. She sharp. I was reading all your stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I like her. So welcome, darling.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome, welcome.
And so
Thank
you
you.
didn't.
Thank you guys so much for having me on tonight.
Yeah. Well, you didn't get a chance to meet her like I did, so I already knew she was fabulous. When I went through all the stuff, I told her, I don't know what to talk about with you. You're doing so many things, and I mean, she's talking about this. I'm like, okay, I like this, I like this, I'm like, let's just stick with the first thing first, and then we'll go down the line when we bring it back on the show. So we're gonna talk about the beautiful living. I don't think I'm going to be doing that much talking, but I'm going to try to jump in somehow. So I know you want to. First, let me just talk to us before she gets in on about what is beautiful living.
Oh, that
Say
is a
Dr. Campbell. I'm sorry, I
yes.
did not address
Doctor.
you properly.
Okay, sorry.
Hmm.
Doctor.
Oh, thank you. And so that's a great opening question. Beautiful living. I like this. Let me just start off by saying, I cannot define beautiful living for you, right? We all have to define what beautiful living is for ourselves. I only come in as your co-pilot and assist you on getting there, right? So, in a nutshell, beautiful living is holistic, whole life wellness. It stands on 8 pillars. I believe those are the 8 pillars that makes you to have a beautiful life, right? And those pillars were really birthed after going through a divorce, and so those pillars were what came to me every step of the way. um I had to shift my mindset. I had to get closer with my walk with God, right? I had to make sure that I took care of my body, honey, because when you're going through something, our body normally takes on the toll, right? I had to make sure that I developed, or well, I always felt like I had a good self relationship, but making sure that I really tuned into myself before I was able to step out and be with other people or another man per se, right? And then my finances, oh, it plummeted. Okay, after going from 2 households to one, and still had a child in school at the same time, it was, yeah, that piece of it. But then, standing in purpose. I believe that we all are created with purpose, and the greatest fulfillment is operating in purpose, like y'all doing tonight, right? And I'm sure y'all found great joy in that. And um, outward beauty, that is pillar number 7. How we're showing up for what we're called to do, right? I believe that when we feel look good, we feel good, we produce well. And last but certainly not least, social beauty is the last pillar of beautiful living, being able to be in community with other people. God never designed for us to do life alone. And so it's very important that we are in community with other people, especially when you're going through something.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say to you, Miss Keisha, let's talk about the 8 pillars. You just ran right through them, and I love it. Because for women, like you said, your backstory, if I may share, that you said you had a child at 14, right?
I did. I did.
And it was something you had wrote on, I think it was on Facebook, how your teacher did not believe in you, didn't even want to help you to go to college, or you're not going to even graduate from high school, or whatever they was telling you. And it's like, wow, you excel from someone that's supposed to be there to help you, just
Mhm.
hit you with a hammer. Like, you ain't amount to nothing, Keisha, nothing. But just to see that you got the honorary doctorate degree, but last year in
Yes,
2024,
yes,
I mean, and I know you want to just go back to her and say, or him, whoever try to crush your dreams, to let them know, you see me now, right? Child has
yeah,
stopped me. I had a young baby. I had a baby when I was young, been divorced. But look at this. This is what I'm talking about. When I see, I'm coming after her for Club 50. When I see, I have a blog. When I see beautiful women like this, I'm like, yes, tell your story. Because when you look at you, you don't see nothing. Like, if you're spiritual, you don't look like what you've been through. So
yeah,
you
yes.
could
I
tell
am
God
spiritual.
got, yeah, I could tell with these pillars, God
Yeah,
has his hand on you. So it's like,
yeah,
come on, people. You see her and you see this. If this not encouraging as a life coach for somebody to get with you and say, let me tell you my backstory. Now, if you could trump that, we don't have to even argue about it. But I was reading the reviews of when you talk and coach to certain people. They are like, she listens. That was the main thing that kept going all the way through. She listens. And that's how, baby, I'm going to let you get in
I'm
here.
just like, if you're gonna ask her a question or something, you just.
Now, I just want to give her flowers
I
right
mean,
now.
my God,
You got to give her flowers
you know,
right
Thank
now.
you.
one thing you gotta know, Dr. Campbell, you're a part of the family now, and we crazy. We've been married for like 30 years, so we have a lot of fun with each other. When she's talking, she's excited for the guests.
When it's
You know,
powerful women, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, but it's powerful women. You're
I
not
mean, we only
excited
get
when a
this
man
little
get on
month.
there?
And
Yeah.
look, you're my birthday gift. My birthday is tomorrow. So I said, this woman just put some fuel up in me. I love it. And then
Well, and
another thing,
happy early birthday.
thank you, sweetie. And every time I
Yes.
look at her
I'm gonna
face,
zip you for a second because I need to. I
see,
want to ask a question.
I'm going to get to
So-
Well,
her
I
question.
want to say something before you ask the
Go ahead.
question. So yeah, it was actually my counselor, right? And I had to figure out everything on my own, right? And she was supposed to be there to walk me through each of the steps for me to go to college and all those things. But really, she just threw in the towel, like, yeah, you got a baby, and so good
Like
luck.
your life ended right there.
Yeah. And I never had the mindset of being a statistic. I never thought about, oh God, I'm about to have a baby, that never crossed my mind. What crossed my mind was, okay, about to have a baby, but I still need to graduate with my class. So I need to put a plan in. Yeah. So I need to create my vision, which I did, put the plan in, and I worked the plan. And so when adults tell me and come to me with things, I'm like, I had to do this at 14. So come on.
Yeah.
That's all I've been
You know?
doing all day. Like,
Right.
you go. Okay, Rick, you ask your question now.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you back a little bit because I'm trying to help out some other young ladies who are not at that beautiful living point yet at the 8 pillars. Talk a little bit about the struggles that you were going through before you got there. You talked about a divorce and how this woman wasn't there to support you. Talk a little bit about the struggles that you was going to and help a young lady right now who is in that point of the struggle period that hasn't gotten to that 8 pillar success story.
Well, there are different seasons in all our lives. And, when I got pregnant at 14, I guess I would like to say that I was ambitious at that time because it didn't hit me as it could. I've gone back to high schools and talked with other teen moms and listening to their stories and things, and it's different. And so I would fast forward to me going through a divorce, which that was, I feel like, the most traumatic experience that I've ever experienced. So much so that I pleaded with God to allow me to be the last woman on earth to experience it. Like, let me carry it because I didn't want nobody else to experience it. And so what you have to do when you're in a situation, whatever that is, whether it's divorce, whether it's whatever it is, because everybody's thing is different, right? There may be some in divorce, there may be some with a health issue. It may just be some whatever financial issues. You have to get to a point where how do I want to say this?
Honestly.
Yeah, I'm just, for me, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being balled up, right? And I had to get to that point. Nobody could get me there. Nobody could make me get there quicker than I got there for myself. It had to be something that I needed to do for me. So I can call all my friends every day. They was listening, but I had to get tired of, like, I'm tired of having that conversation. I'm tired of being in this space. I have to do something different. It wasn't instantaneously, but I knew that I had to do something different. So I am a very spiritual person. So I will
Amen.
say the first thing I started to do was worship, because when you're going through things, I ain't have a choice. I ain't know nothing else but to do but turn on my worship music and just worship, because the tears was flowing. And I had to, like, give it back to the Lord every single day. Another thing that I did, which was I wrote affirmations down. I had to remind myself of who I am, despite what the world was saying, despite all the things that was going on in the world, despite how I felt, I wrote them on my bathroom mirror, somewhere I had to go and frequent all the time. I had to wash my hand, I had to use the bathroom, I had to shower, whatever it is. I saw those affirmations. I went a step further and I put those more affirmations and Bible scriptures and all the things that I needed to not go back to. I put them on my lampshade. So anytime I felt like I was going to pick up that phone and be like, I'm going, nope. I had to remind myself why I was where I was and that I wasn't, I couldn't go back. I needed to keep moving forward. And so those affirmations became a lifeline. The worship became a lifeline. Having a support system became a lifeline for me. Having people that I can pick up the phone, I'm a talker. So we can talk all night. But when I'm going through something, everybody gonna hear it because I'm gonna, okay, I don't wear her out, so I'm gonna call the next person. Because I ain't done. I have to keep repeating the same thing over and over because I gotta get it out. And that was another thing, just having a support system. So if you are going through something right now, first I would say do not go at it alone. God did not intend for you to be in isolation.
Amen.
He did not intend for you to go through life by yourself. So the first thing I would say is get a support system, whether that's friends, whether that's a therapist, whether it's a life coach, such as myself, whether it's somebody in the church, wherever you are. Next thing I would tell you to do is you have to remember, you have to shift your mindset. That was the first thing I talked about in my book. You have to shift your mindset to, I can get through this, because a lot of times we get in this woe me, and woe me will keep you stuck. Woe me will keep you spiraling. Woe me will have you in a fetal position. Woe me will have you going down in depression. Woe me will have you in not a beautiful life. And you have to, it happened. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
You have to move forward. Not to say that you got to get up. There is a process, but honor your process, but honor it in a way that it will not cause you to spiral out of control and not be able to rebound.
I
Amen.
love the fact that you're resilient because the world will keep you in a woe me and have the
Mhm,
theme music playing. You know how, especially a black woman, as a
mhm,
woman, we walk when you say you get dressed and you feel good, you feeling yourself. You got the theme music in your head, and it's some
mhm,
good music and stuff. But the
mhm.
world will have the woe me playing, fall
Yeah.
into that trap. And you sit there and you marinate in it, and you don't want to do that. So I love the fact when I talk to people that I could resonate with, that you've been through something, and like you just said, I want God hear me. I don't want any other woman going through a divorce go through what I've been through. I want you to
Mhm,
compound all of this on me
mhm,
for they could just not go through this. A lot of
mhm.
women would never say that. They'll say,
Oh,
"You
yeah.
went through it, girl. That's your thing. Better you than me." And I hate
Mhm,
when I hear that. So when I hear a person like you talking and you're a life coach, you could relate to so many other people, because a lot of people do say you don't have to go through everything to know how a person is feeling, and that's true. But
mhm,
when you get a Keisha Campbell who been through it, who been a
mhm,
young mother and a
mhm.
young parent, and been married, divorced, and it's like, okay, she get it. She ain't just reading the script of what she's supposed to say. And
Right.
when I say that, like I said, reading your stuff earlier, I was like, okay, this is a bad sister. And I mean, really, from the pictures, the bio, everything, and baby, you're gonna be like, how many flowers you giving her? A whole bunch. Because for you to go through that and no one, not saying nobody else lift you up, because I'm sure they do, but you know how it go. You
Mhm.
have to encourage yourself, and that's
Encourage
spiritual.
yourself. Yes.
You have to encourage yourself. And I love what you say. You put it on a lamp, put it on a mirror. Places where you got to look at, because when you're going through with the woe is me, you don't want to see yourself in the mirror, but you got to wash your face. You got to
Yes.
brush your teeth. You got to do
Mhm.
this. And if you got that encouraging scripture up there or a statement to get you through your day, that's more than gold for a lot of people. It's like, I made it through the first 24 hours. I'm going to
Yes.
make it to the next week. I'm going to make it
Yes.
to the next year. So, baby, you could go on for that
Let
one.
me add, let me jump in there real quick because it was
Okay.
something you said, two things you said. The first thing was when you feel good. So one thing that I could control is how I showed up. So no matter what out how I was feeling. I put my clothes on. God carried me to the car. Now, I don't know how I got to the car and back, but I
Right.
did. But I always showed up put together.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't know what I was going through unless I said something. So this is
Yep.
not a time to walk around like what you're going through. If you are going through something, the most powerful thing you can do is get up, get dressed, do your hair, put some bad earrings on, put some lipstick on, and go strut. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
is your power. And I'm, I'm actually about to do a whole boot camp on that, called the
Okay.
Confident Closet, in the on the 23rd of March. But I'll tell y'all about that a little later. And the second thing you said, at the end was, now just look, because I got so engulfed in getting dressed and showing up that I forgot my train of thought. It was something you said at the end that I wanted to address, but it'll come back to me and then
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Okay. So one of the things I wanted to say real quick is that you had mentioned something, and one of the things that I used to teach people when to help them with having confidence in themselves, I would tell them to look in a mirror, and I want you to say these words: "I love you," and I love you. You are you're wonderful. You're special. Saying those things, and it was so hard for them to actually look at themselves and see that person there and speak words of affirmation with them. But it broke the veil when they were able to do that, because a lot of times people start crying because they had never had words of spoken "I love" to myself. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we forget to show love to ourselves. And I'm gonna paraphrase this with this. You hear a lot of times people say, "You don't know me," but there's a lot of people, Dr. Campbell, that don't even know themselves. And so, how do I, not even knowing myself, I perpetrate a lot of time. I'm gonna make out, I know, you don't know, I know, but I don't. How do I get from that transition of perpetrating to have a purpose?
Well, okay, that's two things. So I'm gonna address the first thing. First thing
Okay.
is self identity. What you said was key. Affirmation. You can't wait for somebody else to affirm you. When we go back, a lot of us, Black culture, we go back into childhood. That's where it
Yeah.
starts, right? Mama said, daddy said, auntie called me this and all those things, and you carry it because nobody came back and come back and said, you are not those things. You are awesome and amazing. You are beautiful. You are kind, all these things. And so you get in, as an adult, and you carry that. And so one of the key things that I always say is that we have to affirm ourselves, by stating who we are, because God said that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, first of all. And so if I'm standing in that, I have to remind myself, I am fearfully and wonderful made. The Lord, I am made in God's image, right? I am beautiful. Those affirmations on the mirror, maybe you need to put those on there, as a starter, because you can't wait for nobody else to do it. And if it's really, really deep rooted, you may have to go to therapy, and really talk through some of those trauma. Where is it stemming from? Because a lot of times we like to brush things under the rug and we don't like to deal with it. And we move forward without ever dealing with the true root of the reason why you're in the space that you are in. And so when we talk about purpose, purpose is, God created us all for purpose. And so how I like to say it is, it's something, purpose and calling. So purpose, you are here for a purpose because God needs you to do something, right? But what is he calling you to do? It's something that you've been doing the whole time. It's just something you've been doing the whole time. And I can go back as young as 8 when I was doing playing with my baby doll with one of my older cousins. And I was styling her hair. And my cousin said to me, I need you to teach me how to plait my doll's hair. Now she was like 12. And she threatened me and said, we're not going to bed until she learned. So I learned right early on that I was a teacher because I was patient with her and I taught her how to plait. We still talk about this to this day. And along the way, I noticed that I encourage people naturally. I had an encounter with one of my gym teachers. I happened to run back to the gym because I forgot something. And one of the gym teachers was in there pouring, crying. I sat with her. She told me she had gotten bad news from a doctor. And I don't know what the Lord led me to say, but in that moment, she just told me when I get married, she was going to be at my wedding. And she was. She did show up at the wedding. But I encouraged her during that moment. And so I knew that was a gift, not unbeknownst to me, that it was already something I had been doing. In my family, when I was married and stuff, I used to call family meetings all the time, always wanting to know what they wanted to do with their lives so I can support it. So whenever my kids wanted to do something, I was like, done, done. My ex wanted to do acting and stuff, done. And so I was acting as a coach before I even realized that I was a coach. I didn't even know that that even existed. I had been doing this
Mm.
work for so long. And so when we talk about purpose, it's something you've been doing the whole time. Now, who I'm called to may change, who I'm called to in a season. Right now, I feel like I'm called to help divorce women life after divorce, right? Help married women because sometimes we lose ourselves after we get married in our style, right? Motherhood, we lose ourselves. We just throw on stuff because we don't have time for ourselves. So it's just different seasons where we are in transition and when we may be called to the people or the places. But purpose is something that you've been born with and you've been doing it the whole time. You just overlook it.
I love the fact that you tapped into the gifts that God given you. A lot of people do not know the gifts because they don't have a relationship with God. But God always still a gift in us when we're young. And like you said, you realize I could talk to people. I could communicate with them. And I'm a teacher. All the little things like that. When you get older, it's like the light switch come on, and it's like, okay, God, I've been doing this for a long time and now it's coming to manifestation. And with that being said, when you said you help the women with the 8 pillars with marriage, divorce, I love that because like what you just said, you do lose yourself in a marriage. And the fact that like Rick is a strong supportive husband and stuff, but we have ours, he ain't making nobody perfect because there's no
Right.
perfect marriage and everything. But we have our ups and downs. But he's my biggest, I don't want to say cheerleader, and we can use your masculinity.
Brother! No, there
But
go.
he my biggest
Now there
cheerleader
go
when it
weaker
comes,
me.
okay, when it comes. So you say that to a man, like, I ain't no
Nah,
cheerleader. You know what I mean. So,
Right.
but,
nah.
and the fact that, like, if you're single or divorced, always have that village. And if you don't
Mhm.
have those group of girls that will uplift you, like we have a thing called Let's Stay Together relationship letter. And someone wrote in about women tearing each other down. And that's so common. And a lot of people don't get it. It's like, y'all that rough. Yeah, they are. It's like I said, I'm the one that when I see someone, I'm your cheerleader. I don't even know you, but I'm like, y'all got to meet this girl. Blah blah blah. Read this. Go on her link. Whatever. A lot of women, to me, don't do that. So, have you ever came across while you're coaching someone that is like, okay, I'm not getting to her. What do you do to break the ice with them when it's like, I don't see all this. I see you as everything perfect, Keisha. Tell me your story. How do you go about that to chip away with them, to break it down, to let them know I'm here?
So a couple of things. I share my story often. And so because I share my story, when somebody reaches out, they kind of already know. I heard you when you talked about this or when you shared that or whatever. But I do breakthrough calls, discovery calls, or whatever you want to call it, because everybody is not made for everybody. And so, but if I deemed at the time that we are a good fit, then I remind them, and I have somebody came to mind when you asked this question. Um, that particular client, she was in the woe me stage. So when you're in a woe me stage, ain't nothing you can say because she was just in a woe me stage. Um, I give options at that time. The option is and I'm here to help you move forward. and this is how I would like to do this. This is what that would look like. However, if we can't get past this, then perhaps you need to see a therapist. I'm not gonna hold on because it's energy for one, and I'm here to help. And if I see that you are just pigeonholed where you are, and you're not taking the advice, you're not doing, because life coaching is really, I'm just the guide, right? And I'm pulling the stuff out of you. It's all in us.
Right.
When I went through my divorce, I had 3 therapists plus me. They were never available. So I ended up having to coach myself. They were like, oh, I don't have another appointment for 2 months. Girl, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna make it. And so I always said that my friends were my therapists because I needed just to talk, and then I had to go coach myself, right? And so at the end of the day, you have to be, I'm not one that's gonna ever tear a woman down. I listen and I empathize, sympathize. But at a point, as a coach, we have to move past it. And if you're right here, I'm going to give you steps to move past that right here moment. You have to take the next step.
Yeah.
It's like God telling us, when you take a step, I take 2. You got to go take the step. I can't take the step for you.
Yeah.
Amen.
I like that because, everybody is not going to be able to be helped if they're not at least thinking about helping themselves. You got to be able to move forward as well. And I've done a lot of counseling in marriage and single, even in prison ministry, I've done counseling. And I always tell people, I don't have the answers for you. I'm helping you bring out the answers that you already have. And they have to understand that it's that you're looking for the counselor or the coach to tell you something. The answer is in you. You just need to speak it. And a lot of times, people won't do that. Let's change the subject a little bit because I know you've got some books out there and you're going to be doing some conferences. So talk a little bit about the books and the conferences that you're going to be doing.
Well, I already have a book called The Journey to Beautiful Living. It talks about the 8 pillars. Initially, it said 7 pillars for living a fulfilled life. There is a bonus pillar, which makes it 8. I end up adopting that pillar after this book was written to make it 8, because 8 is the number of new beginnings. And I believe once you read this book, it's your new start. And so 7 is the number of completion. So initially I had 7 because I felt like these were the 7 complete pillars. Oh, there you go, right there. And so
and look beautiful on there too.
Thank you. And so it's a journey. Beautiful living is a journey. It's a journey. It's a decision that you have to make every single day, that I want to live a fulfilled life. And only you can determine what that fulfilled life look like, right? And so, but at the end of each chapter, I give practical tips and strategies for that chapter. So the first one is talking about mental beauty, talking about shifting your mindset. At the end, I give you practical step-by-step things that you can do in that area of life to become better, to have a growth mindset versus a fixed one, right? And each chapter is exactly like that. I have a 4-day transformational boot camp coming up March the 24th through March the 27th, 4 days, called the Confident Closet. And that is for women, designed for women who are in a style rut, who are overwhelmed and always saying, I don't have nothing to wear, or, I don't, I go out, I can't find things that fit me, just all our style things. And really and truly, you got plenty, because your closet is not empty. But I want to help you to rediscover or discover what your unique style is, because what was happening was people had started inboxing me a lot, DMing me around, do I style people? I used to style people back in the day after COVID, but I want to go to the mall. So and so I have put together something exclusive to help women in that space, because I get text messages, I get people DMing me saying, hey, I have a event, can you do you approve this outfit? Like, and so that is the beauty side of me. So I want to help in a different way. I want to empower and teach women how to step out and be their best selves for whatever they are called to do. And so those are two of the immediate things. The book you can find it everywhere, Amazon, everybody have it. But if you get it from me at KeishaCampbell.com, I'll personally sign it, write a little note in there to you, and get it to you. So
Well, I wish I should have thought that first, because every time we have somebody on the show that has a book, we buy the book on the show, and I just bought the book on the show.
oh,
so
okay.
maybe what I need to do is just because Brenda usually reads a lot of the books. I'm usually religious books and stuff. She reads much faster than I do. She can get through a book in a day and a half. It might take
When
me
it's good like
it
this.
may take me a year to get through it. You know, I'm still looking at the Old Testament in the Bible.
Stop. But I do love the fact that, like you said, your book is out there and your conference, what you're about to do with the 8 pillars. I know we're going to let you go soon, but go through this for all those listening. The first one that she had out there was mental beauty.
So let me stop you for a second, because I want to let everybody know, if you just joined us, we're talking to Dr. Campbell, and we're talking about beautiful living, and she has these 8 pillars that she has on there that Brenda's going to be talking about. So go ahead, baby.
The first one was mental beauty. And what Dr. Campbell does, she put a scripture with it. And that if you're a Christian, you love that. You refer back to the scripture, see what Keisha wrote up in there, and try to apply it to your life. The second one is spiritual beauty. Third one, physical beauty. Fourth, relational beauty. That was a good one. Financial beauty, fifth. Or I'm probably missing that then. I got the last one as professional beauty on here. But you have your last one is what now?
And then after professional beauty, which is pillar number 6, pillar number 7 is outward beauty, and pillar number 8 is social beauty.
Social beauty. And then, like I
So
said,
outward and
relational
social.
beauty. That got me because, like I said, you have to have that village of what you want. Of course, relation goes with family, friends, and with women, we do have that village of our main favorite 5, 10, 15 girls we try to be together with and stuff. But going back to that tearing down real quick, I love the fact that God blessed me with women that we uplift each other. The older we've gotten, we realize this is what we need to do. Stop tearing each other down. If Keisha want to come in here, because I'm looking at this lipstick. This is a girl thing. I want to
Right.
text you and say, girl, what number or who is that? I want that pink lipstick. That is gorgeous to me.
Thank you.
Whereas,
I don't want the pink lipstick.
no, you don't
for
want it,
sure,
but text her,
I
let her
I
know.
do
You
like
tell
that
me the name.
collar.
Yeah, the collar
That
too.
collar is looking sharp.
And see,
there,
this is
Ron.
her fashion beauty to me. Just marinating on women. And some women would look and say, oh, she thinks she cute. Well, she is. You thinking it
She's
for.
beautiful living.
Right. And it's showing, it's glowing on you.
I'm just all this woman world and stuff like that. I'm gonna give a shout out to our producer Kenny, because he had that book up there. He
Yes.
pulled up the 8 pillars and showed it. I'm gonna tell you something. Don't cut up. Y'all cutting us out in this.
No,
thing.
we're not. No, we're not.
Men are still doing our thing here.
No, but and we honor our men as well. And so I do get men in my DMs talking about what about us? And I was like, apply
Yeah.
it to your life. You read the book, it's 8 pillars.
Yeah, yeah.
Apply it to your life. You still need a mindset, a relationship, take care of your body, self-relationship first before you out here trying to be in a relationship with other people. All those things, it still apply to the men. I just be happy to talking to my sisters. But I have men that have bought my book. A number
Yeah,
of people.
we want to peep in and get a little wisdom too. But that is true, because I was listening to it, I'm like, wow, this can apply to anyone. Basically, but
Yeah.
helping out the sisters was great. Now again, I don't know, maybe I missed it, because I was thinking about something. Did you tell us about the conference that you're having again?
So it's actually a boot camp, and it's a 4-day boot camp.
So
It's
is that
March
you
the
have to be there, or
24th.
was it online?
It's online. It's
Okay, great.
online. It's on my Facebook page, but I can also send it to you guys, and y'all can put it,
Yeah, do
below
that,
this.
please.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's coming up, you
And
said on the 24th or
the
something?
24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Okay.
It's 4 days. And I am doing a conference or retreat, but that's to be announced because I don't have a date I'm working on it. So that'll be later on in the year.
I mean, now this girl just she's a mover. I mean, it was hard for me to just get her on the schedule. Let me check now because I got this, I got that. I'm like, is this date of it? Yeah, you got this for right now. Because she is on the move constantly. And so one of the things I want to just say real quick is that I always love that God connects me with people as for yourself that are very knowledgeable and educated and encouraging and uplifting. And we always seem to find, I mean, I didn't know who Dr. Campbell was. I'm not saying the first name because I'm going to mess it up.
Kisa.
Kisa.
of Lisa.
Dr.
Yeah, it's exactly
Kisa.
how I say it.
Lisa.
I always say
Mhm.
Lisa
Kisa.
Kisa.
Lisa Kisa. You know, that's going to make me think of
Lisa Kisa.
Okay, so Dr. Campbell.
Right.
I'm gonna give you your credit for your name. I mean, it's I didn't know her, but how God will bring you to people that can help you and encourage people, and that's what we do on the Let's Stay Together talk show. We like encouraging people on there, and so I really thank you for being a part of the show. The unfortunate part about it, Dr. Campbell, is I tell everybody, once you get on the show, you'll never be able to get rid of us.
Nope.
Because
I love it.
we're gonna bring you back because she talks about a lot of great things and she's very honest and open. You see the videos out there. I mean, she's very honest and open about things that she's went through and how she's inspires other people. And it's you want that. You need that kind of person that's gonna sit there and as Brenda said, you listen, and that is so key in a lot of situations. Not only just to talk to someone, but actually listen to them so you know what you're talking about. So I don't know if you got something last you want to say before we let her go, because I'm sure she's very busy and we kept her for we basically say 30 minutes, but we never go 30 minutes because we be having so much fun on the conversation. And you family now, so you got to deal with us now. But what you got?
Yeah.
I want to say again, thank you for gracing us with your presence this month for Women's Month. It means a lot. And when I say this was a nice birthday treat to me, I'm being selfish. This was a nice birthday treat to me. And I got a book out of it too. So, hey, but I'm loving the fact because she has a smile. That's one thing I was looking at your bio and everything. I said, your smile is so beautiful that it warms the heart. That if someone's seeing you in person, you see that you're authentic. And I've been to a lot of conferences and been around a lot of women, and I ask God for discernment of how to talk to people and how to listen, because I want to listen with my heart with you. And that's what I was doing. I said, I'm resonating with you. And another young lady, I'm going to shout out, she's a doctor too, Dr. Carrie Young McWilliams, she was on our show. She resonated with me. So, baby, you're doing an excellent job getting these real women, because you know how women could discern fake, and we be like,
Yeah.
That just
no,
lets you
no,
know
no,
that a
no,
man
no.
has the greatest discernment of them all.
Yeah.
Now
Like
you're
we-
really taking it real far.
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna have some fun with this with you all over here. This woman power. I
It
gotta
is
come back.
woman power, woman
But
power.
no, I thank the Lord because I mean finding you and then Dr. McWilliams. I mean, two just powerful,
They hit me.
incredible women of God that I just love so much, and I'm just thankful that God has brought me in that direction because I'm looking around for certain things and I'm like, oh, okay, and it's just there. I wasn't looking for Dr. Campbell. God brought me to her page so I can find her. And so it was just a blessing to do that. Any last words you're going to share with us? Anything you want to share, special announcement, anything like that before we go?
Well, I'll share, the book, of course. Go to KisaCampbell.com and grab it, or where Amazon, but get it from me. And my 4-day boot camp, The Confident Closet, March the 24th through the 27th. It will be virtual at 7 p.m. The time changes. If you register, you will find that information out. But grab a good girlfriend. Y'all, we on that phone like, girl, I don't know what to do. Just come to the boot camp, okay? It's absolutely free. 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 4 days.
Send us
okay?
that flyer or something for
Yeah,
we
I'll
could
send
post
it
it.
over. Yes,
And-
I'll send it over.
Because
And-
I'm gonna make sure Brenda get on there so she can learn some beautiful living too.
That's if I'm in town. So, because I lost
That's
a
right.
family member, I
Yeah.
might be. Well, you know what? I still could check in because I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in Memphis. Where are you, though? I know this is on Zoom, but where?
I'm in,
If you can say.
I'm in
Are you?
Georgia.
That's what I
you know,
thought I
some people-
read.
I don't
But
want them to be finding me.
right. Ugh. But this is something I'm gonna put a twist on something with you. This is gonna be the first of many. Rick didn't purchase the book from your website. What you could do for us is, well, for me, write whatever you want to write and email me. I'm gonna tape that in the book. Okay, because I can't get to you. I'm gonna tape whatever you wrote. I'm gonna
Okay.
print it out and put it in the book. Cause
Okay.
I want her signature in her book. Cause I really do
got it.
believe that's gonna blow up.
Yeah,
So
I guess the next time I'm just gonna wait to see what they're gonna say first. 'Cause I'm always
just wait.
I'm gonna buy the book while I'm on there to let the person know that we support them. You know, a
Oh,
lot of times
thank you.
People want to say, "Can you send me a free book?" No, support.
Right,
Learn how to
it's-
support
Thank
your
you.
black businesses, black
support.
entrepreneurs, black speakers. So we are very big on supporting. So, Dr. Campbell, thank you very much.
You're
Like I
welcome.
said, you will be back.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you and thank you very much for being
And
on
she,
our
and she
show.
got a message. She's a beautiful young lady. Yes, she is.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And, I want to leave with the audience that no matter what your past, whatever you've gone through or what you're going through, know that it does not define you unless you allow it to. And so there is beautiful living on the other side. You have to
Amen.
keep moving forward. That's it.
Mhm.
That's a good ending. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Campbell.
you.
And we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, because I got a
Thank you.
question. Okay.
All right.
I got you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
What an amazing interview we had with her. I mean, it's such a blessing how, and I had to say it. I probably shouldn't say it because I'm thinking this is a man's world. But these sisters that's been coming on this show is just knocking it out of the box. I'm saying, I wanted to joke with you, and only you'll catch this because you said, "Oh, she's got scriptures." I'm like, "Wow, a book that has scriptures and text."
But I bet
Content.
hers is a real book.
I'm just saying,
I
it's
know
got
what you're
content
saying.
in it, not just scriptures. Huh? That's really
Yeah.
nice. Hey, we're gonna go on. We're gonna play some music we have here, and I think I'm going to be going to was it Jacardi Cortez and No Failure? Is that right, Kenny? I think I got him there. I can't see it in my glass. You Don't Know is what we're gonna play, and that is Jacardi Cortez. I just read the wrong thing. Jacardi Cortez. You Don't Know. Listen up to this music. Commercial breaks, and we'll be back. For YouTube and Facebook, stay with us. Listen up. We'll be right back.
Oh, okay. This
I'm
next
gonna give my boy a shout out again. Kenny was on that.
Yes,
I mean,
he was. I'm like,
he make our show look professional.
It is
You're
professional.
like, wow, we professional, mama. We professional. See, we professionals,
And
mama.
she gonna say, when you could spell it, not just you, when you could spell it, you professional.
Well,
P
I
R
can spell it, and
O
I
F E
and
S
I
S
know
I O
who
N
and I
A
know who to
L.
go to make us look professional.
Okay.
'Cause I couldn't have done that. So thank you, Kenny. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. On this next story, 8 hurt when driving Plow's vehicle into Southern California car dealership. I'm like, wow, wonder what happened with that. 8 people were injured Saturday when a driver plowed into our CarMax location in Los Angeles. 2 people were critically hurt. 6 other people were wounded. Minor injuries. I mean, the video of the aftermath posted, Rick, was on social media showing that a damaged SUV backing into the building, followed by an employee rushing out of the building. They said that the person was a customer there and the vehicle was appraised. I'm wondering, so was the appraise high enough for you to do the exchange?
I think I don't know if he's trying to trade it in or something like that, and they didn't get him what he wanted, and I guess an argument ensued. I saw this on television, and he ran into the dealership, tearing up things, running into cars. I mean, trying to hit people. They're running for their lives. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is, it always made me think of that song with, many people have sung it, but I think of Lou Rawls. What's the matter with the world? Has the world gone mad? Nothing's wrong with the world. It's just the people that's in it. I mean, this man was literally get so frustrated, he messed up his car, the dealership. Now he going to jail. I'm like, hey, step back. God is bigger than your problem. Okay, we tell making God bigger than your problem. This is a classic example of somebody making the problem bigger than they believe that God or themselves could handle. It's sad because one bad situation. This person probably had this kind of outburst before, but you could have basically killed someone. You caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. You're going to jail because you're gonna go. They're gonna, because some people they may even try to charge you for attempted murder because he was, running at people, and so it's a shame when you see this. I don't know what's wrong with this world where we this hate and violence that just seems to permeate so much. You try to be nice sometimes. People don't even want nice, but they'll take mean and evil any day of the week. That's
any day.
That's
look,
what
when it comes to.
Here we go with Kenny again. We look at Professional.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
Showing it down there, and it's amazing how that happens. I don't know if you can get the video of that coming up, Kenny, but if you can, go ahead. We'll shut up. But it just blows you away when you see something like that happen. I mean, look at this guy. He running all through the thing, boy. CarMax. I'm like,
And you really think you gonna? I mean, you ain't gonna get no money off of it now, for real.
He gonna be owing some money. I mean, he just tearing the place up. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you, man?
Like I said, that's a first with that I've ever seen. But the way this world is now, it's like, really?
I mean, the only thing I don't want to look at the thing like, that's my cousin Willie. You don't want to say anything like that, but it's a shame when you see something like that, and people just get so angry about something. But it's just like I said, I was mad because I went into the traffic, and God was mad at me. You went into the traffic. He went into this situation, and had it. The things didn't work out, and he made it worse than it was. Just leave, and if you have an issue with it and they're not helping you, get a lawyer, do something. But what he did was, it's going to cost him dearly. I mean, he will serve some jail time for that.
It's so hard to have empathy for people like that. It's like you made that decision to plow inside of the car dealership, and when you go to court, you can't say, "Well, they treated me wrong." Okay, well, you walk away. You don't. You almost killed someone.
Right.
But it's like if it didn't go in your favor, it's their fault. Okay, here we go.
I mean, people will do things wrong all the time, and I use this a lot of times too. That the Obamas were saying. I think more that Michelle said when they go low, we go high. And when they go low, we go higher. Sometimes you just have to have that mentality that even if someone is doing something wrong, you rise above it. You don't do things in the righteous way, instead of, falling beneath where that person is. They've guided you into a situation like that. And it's unfortunate when you see that the person now is, again, I said is going to be facing time. What's your next story, Ben?
14-year-old charged with murder of Newark police officer. The officer was killed after police and a group exchanged gunfire Friday night. I mean, we act like we in a wild, wild west. A 14-year-old boy has been arrested and charged with murder and the death of a Newark, New Jersey police officer. Last Friday, Joseph Ascona, 26, a 5-year veteran of Newark police, was shot during an incident. Now, 14 years old with his gun. He must have been in the gang. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Second officer suspect was not shot, but sustaining non-life-threatening injuries.
Okay, we'll get back to that when we get on the air, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo. Hope you all enjoyed that. If you missed it, I'm so sorry. We had Dr. Campbell. How you say her first name? Kisa. Dr. Kisa Campbell on here, and she was talking about beautiful living. I mean, she broke some things down. The 8 pillars We've got a book
like
out there as
that.
well that you can get. Remember, for it's called Beautiful Living. That's out there. We'll be sharing some more information about that. And she's having a conference in March the 24th, I believe, a 4-day conference online for free to help some of the young ladies out that are going through some issues and they need some beautiful living advice themselves. So we'll make sure we have that on our Facebook and share that out to you once we get that information from her. I think I said this before, but once again, make sure you watch the JD Morning Show each Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. only on SOAR Radio. You get Justin, Kenny, in the game sharing some great things. You got some great shows here on SOAR Radio. We did we did an interview with most of the shows. I think, was that last year? That was last year. And we got some great shows. So just, check out SOARradio.com and find out the amazing shows. You missed the SOAR Awards 2025. Amazing.
Amazing.
At the Glenwood, was it not Glenwood?
Greenwood
Oasis.
Oasis.
Greenwood Oasis. The background, everything was just so beautiful with that.
It was.
And I would be surprised if they didn't bring it back there for 2026. Amazing thing that happened there for the SOAR Awards. And I mean, it's climbing up there. To be close to the Stellars. It's climbing up the mountain. We're gonna reach the top, and
I bet the stage get bigger and bigger as it grows.
But it's just fantastic. The award ceremonies that Justin does. So we want to make sure you check that out. We're gonna talk right now about our next topic, and baby, what is that?
Our next topic for Why Did I Get Married? Having fun in an aging marriage. I like that. Aging marriage.
Yeah, and I brought that up because couples, unfortunately, marriages, especially Christian marriage and marriage in general, are the success rates are plummeting to where people don't last, over a certain amount of years. We're celebrating over 30 years, going to 31 years, and it's marriage is never really easy when you have two people there with strong backgrounds or whatever. It can be challenging, but you want to be able to make it through. And so when people do make it through, because older generation, they will stay together. Well, you got to stay together for the kids, and then they're empty nest and they don't know how to enjoy each other anymore. And so I was thinking about this. I'm like, how do people who are in relationships, because I've seen it so many times, people have been married for 15, 20, 30 years. They're there, but they're not there. They'll perpetrate, but then sometimes you'll catch it and you'll see that they're really not enjoying each other's company that much. And it's like, what can you do to have fun in an aging marriage? And I'm gonna throw out some things out here, but I just want to kind of just do a off the cuff talking about this. But the keys that I found here was saying. Communication is the key. Be present. Show appreciation. Physical affection, and adapt to changing needs. And laughter is important. Okay, you like the laughter is important.
Yeah, because that's what I always say. When you make me laugh, it just, if I have any problem or something going on, it just relieves me. I love that.
Okay, and it's fun that you could do that. It says, find humor in everyday situations and share jokes with each other. You sometimes have a hard time sharing jokes, especially if it's a joke about yourself, though. And I'm like, I just like to have some fun sometimes, even I joke about myself. But it's like, you want to be able to have that time where you're laughing and you're joking and just have a good time on the show, laughing and playing around each other. Because those endorphins, when you're excited and happy and laughing, it makes your body feels better. Spiritually, it uplifts you. There's more joy in your body, your spirit. And so when you get a little bit older, don't forget to laugh with each other, play with each other, joke around. I mean, don't be mean spirit with your joking and stuff like that. But just have some fun sometimes. Know the person, because I'm not gonna sit there and have some a pan with some whipped cream on there and hit Brenda in the face. She ain't gonna find that funny. So it's like, even though it's like that, it's fun. We having some fun. She ain't gonna find that funny. So there's some things you gotta know about what somebody would do and won't do, because I've seen some people do that on jokes and stuff like that. And I'm like, that was so funny, but at least the person was laughing about it too, because they have that kind of sense of humor, or that relationship where they can joke around with each other, do pranks and stuff like that, and they won't get bent out of shape about it. But you want to be able to just laugh and have a good time.
Yeah, and you have to have, of course, we always say you have to know your spouse love language. That's the beginning. And then, two, in an aging marriage, each of you have changed over a period of time. What you fell in love with, like 30 years ago, or 32 years ago, or 33 years ago, when we first started dating before we got married, we're two different people now. We have grown together and individually. And you have to just understand each other. Okay, I know Rick doesn't like this, so I can't come to him with this. Bryn don't like this. You throw a pie in the face first thing in the morning. My face broke out. We know. But I was telling Rick that a lot of people don't see, because he's a minister, the fun that we have. It can be behind closed doors a lot. I get it, because of the relationship we are in the ministry and stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that because you are a Christian, you can't have fun. And we do. I love the fact when he could joke with me, and we just laughing, and I have that gut laugh. And that's the thing that I like, because I said, when your day is heavy, that person, that individual you with, is something that they could come to you with and just soothe you. Like, I know today Rick had traffic issues getting home. And the first thing when he came in the door, I said, "What do you need for me to do for you?" Just to help ease this, because we know we have the show coming up, and you don't want them to be, up here and down like, oh, God, stuck on that. But one thing I do love about you, babe, he turned that all around and shared with you guys the situation, that what we was talking about, making God bigger than our problems and stuff. And a lot of people don't understand in an aging marriage that communication is still key, because a lot of older couples, I remember when we were younger, used to say, "Oh, I let him do his thing, she do her thing." Okay, when y'all gonna do y'all thing? They live in those separate lives. But your title for this is on spot. It's perfect. What can we do together, babe?
Yeah, and I think also, don't I know there are situations where
What?
no, I'm good. There's situations where things are, you're going through some rough times, but don't stop your spouse from wanting to bring laughter into a situation, even as a sorrowful situation. I don't want to laugh. Why would you, because you're trying to bring in levity or just a little joy. Yeah, the situation is, bad for what happened, but you don't want to, go into a being depressed about it, and that person is trying to lift you up. Don't jump back at that, because that's in any relationship, but you want to be able to do that. So aging relationships, what happens a lot of times is that we get comfortable with our distance. One person is upstairs, another person is downstairs. When empty nest comes, we don't do things, to have fun. Me and Brenda will watch TV, but sometimes we get caught up in, we're not even watching the TV, we're on our telephones. And so instead of us being together with each other, watching something and enjoying it, we get comfortable with our distance. And you have to be careful with that. That you don't want to, you get so comfortable with, not doing anything, and I want to say being comfortable with uncomfortable things, distancing yourself from each other. I'm used to it now. I don't, we've grown apart so much. I don't want to get back. And you want to be able to have fun, to like you did when you first, met each other, when you first got married. You want to bring some of that fun back. Yeah, things change. You can't do the things, that you used to do when you was younger. I mean, me and Brenda may not, get on a bicycle and ride downtown from South Holland. We probably don't want to ride from South Holland to Dalton.
Across the street.
But I mean, you could, you could get on, maybe, hey, let's get on a bike for two, and we can both do it, or get on a scooter. I don't know, something that's gonna fun where you all can be together with each other, because you have to adapt to change, and that says be mindful for any physical limitations, adjustment activities accordingly, but you don't want to stop having fun or enjoying life because, well, I got it. This my leg is hurting. That you can still have fun doing things. I mean, if you can sit down there with your leg hurting and watch TV and laugh at Martin, you can find something to do with your spouse to laugh and enjoy each other too. And so you've got to be able to find things that are going to bring you together, because what I've seen so much with people in aging relationships is that they get comfortable with the distance. They get comfortable with being comfortable about not spending time with each other. And you don't want to do that. The other one says show appreciation, express gratitude to your partner. Thank them, for something. Brenda was saying, Rick is, my cheerleader, and so that ain't gonna bother you. That's I ain't worried about someone taking away my manhood because I'm a child of God. I'm a man of God, so it doesn't really matter. But having that gratitude that somebody is there for you, they're doing things for you, and it's it's not necessarily fun, but it's a fun thing, that you can say, hey, it's so nice that person is doing that. They're looking out for me. They're caring for me. They're thinking about me. And a lot of times we kind of stray away from that, the longevity of our relationship. Yeah, we still do certain things, but are we doing things, are we thinking about that person ahead of the time? I know Brenda needs this. I'm going to buy this. I know Rick needs this. I know Rick wants this. I know, I'm looking out for him. And so, those are fun things that you can do for that individual. Like, hey, this is so nice for you to do that, and you all can have some joy about that. Be present. I just said, we get comfortable with distance. Don't let other items have more time with your spouse or with yourself than you do with the individual that you say that you love. You want to spend some time with them. It would be so fun just as one time just cut the TV off and just talk, just generally about things. Reminisce about, certain things. There's nothing wrong with reminisce about, how you all enjoy being with each other, some of the things that you did, some of the crazy things you did, some crazy things that me and Brenda did that I won't be sharing on the show. But going back and laughing about certain things like that, and it's like, wow, you remember, and it's so funny because we were young and we was, we was, spontaneous and we did things and we, you get a bit older, you lose that spot. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm too old. No, you're not.
Can I just elaborate on this before we move to the next subject?
Yeah.
Thinking of something we done together. It wasn't back in our youth. It was actually about 6 or 7 months ago, back in August, when we went to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
And I laugh at it now because Rick rented, what was that little red scooter thing?
Little scooter thing, yeah.
Rick rented something, and it was a little bit, it looked like a little bug car, a little tiny thing. And I'm
tiny.
like, I don't want to get in that. I was petrified to be in it.
Complained all the way.
I did. And the people on the street was waving because we were so cool looking in it, but they seen us as, oh, they tourists, they enjoying this, blah, blah, blah. Didn't know I was petrified until we pulled up to a stop, and the couple said, you're not liking this, are you? It showed all on my face. But today, and the reason I'm bringing that up, because today on, if I say her name, I hope she don't pop up. Alexa.
Okay.
But my thing went out today. The picture showed us in that little cute car, and I just started laughing. And next thing I know, my girl ain't working no more. I'm like, what the heck? And I was having a good time thinking of the memories of that, laughing
Yeah.
at that.
That was I thought it was gonna be really fun. That thing, that little scooter thing would move over 25 miles an hour. We on the
Like,
main street, and I'm like, okay, this thing has got to move. And then we had went somewhere and kind of got lost, so we didn't get a chance to see all the things we wanted to. I had the thing for the whole day. We turned it back in after 4 hours. Like, I'm tired of this thing.
Yeah.
It was fun, and just the memories. Sometimes of going to Hawaii, because we talked about it before. We went into the hotel, and the hotel that we went to Hawaii, which shocked us, like we was in the ghetto.
The first one.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
we go in there, and they got
People smoking
people-
weed,
people
even
weed
there.
outside in front of the place and stuff like that. We get into the hotel room. The hotel room is dirty.
Had
We got-
food in it.
Had
I'm
food
like,
on it, stains on the bed. I'm like, oh, we getting out of here.
oh, and the thing that really sealed for Rick he worked quick and got us out of there. But what was funny was you open up the curtains to the balcony.
Yeah.
And you look over at this motel.
Motel-looking thing.
Adjacent, looked
Right.
like a crime scene.
Yes.
And I'm like, nope, not here, not today, not on this long trip. Can't do it. And then when we get to the new hotel,
Yeah.
it was like violins was
Yeah, it was
playing.
like night
It's like
and day.
champagne was. How can we help you? I was broke.
I called Expedia and they told me it's gonna cost you a little extra. I don't mind. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes, we
I
outta
think
here.
Within 40 minutes we was out. I told them, hey, give me my money back. I put this down payment. Send it back to me. We gone. Here's your keys. We out of here. We
Yeah.
caught us a cab. He took us over there. I mean, it was pretty much in walking distance, but who wanted to walk?
With-
we went
with our
over there.
luggage.
I mean, it was right next to the beach. I mean, it was
Night and it was so
much
beautiful.
better. Had a waterfall inside of it. I mean, it was very nice. But I mean,
Very.
looking back on that, and what we're basically saying, even look back on some of the that didn't work out, but you can laugh about it now. Be present in the moment. And that you're having some joy with each other, because you want to be able to just what you have. The glorious thing that you have as an aging couple is your memories. And you can go back and look at that and enjoy, some of the things that you went through. I mean, I was just thinking about the Hawaii trip about a night or two ago, about how much fun I can visually see us just still riding, on the bus and going, past the waterways, and it was so relaxing. You didn't have to rush to do anything. We was able to enjoy our day.
Meeting Sadie the whale or whatever that
did
was.
almost run into a hurricane at the time, but
Yeah.
it kind of bypassed us, which was happy. We got past the hotel boycott, because the people working at the hotel were boycotting. They did it about a couple of days after we left.
Right, it was like, oh,
So we
God,
was happy
thank
about
you.
that. But it's those memories that you can go back on, and you can build for those memories. Hey, hey, that was fun. Let's do this. Hey, we can do that. You want to be able to be present even in the past, so you can sit there and say, hey, that was fun. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And the last thing, again, is just, the key communications. Just, make sure you're talking to each other. You're sharing with each other. Don't let your phone, your television, whatever, be talking to your spouse more than you are.
Yeah, those distractions.
Yeah. We got about 15 minutes. I want to make sure we can get into the Ife Design Club 50 and then the relationship letter. Do we have enough time to do one more song? I think I don't know if it's going to last that long. Do your Club 50 and relationship letter. I mean, your Club 50 and Ife, and then I'm going to let the next song play.
Okay, Club 50. We have some great articles coming up. Great Golden Diva interviews coming up next week on, let's see, today is what, the 11th?
Yes.
So
you
18, 19.
should know that, don't you?
Yeah, it's coming up. I'm interviewing a young lady that was on our show, and it's Dr. Carrie Young McWilliams. Beautiful lady, and we're going to be talking about just everything that she does with helping us in this world today. It's a nice title, but I don't want to share it just yet. So check that out at theclub50.com. And Ife Designs are loving you guys. One thing I can say, God is awesome. When I have a slow period, I have to do everything else, and then everything comes so much, but I'm grateful, so grateful. Ife Designs, like, it's let's make it happen with bigger and bolder designs showcasing you. Birthday showers, weddings, prom, graduations, and so much more. DM me on Facebook if you have my number, text, or call me while I could bring your ideas to reality.
All right. It's amazing sometimes you put things together, you can't read what you have on here. So I know the song that we have here is from Melvin Crispell, and I believe that song should be "No Failure" that we're gonna be playing. Kenny, I just wanted to play the song, and then we'll come right back. I just want everybody, to get a chance to hear the song. Take a break for a little bit, and then come back because we got a great relationship letter to end the show. So listen up. We'll be right back. We don't have any more stories, do we?
I don't, but I do want to say, hey, Doug, thanks for joining us.
Doug is back on there with the show that he has. I think on Saturdays, right? Doug's show. It's on Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, we talk about some great shows that we have here on.
I could finish that article about the 14-year-old boy. We didn't finish that.
Yeah, talking to Mike, but finish it.
The 14-year-old was charged in murdering a cop.
You want to start it back over at the beginning?
Okay, 14-year-old charged with murder of Newark police officer. Joseph R. Ascona, 26, a 5-year veteran of the Newark Police Department, was shot during the incident and pronounced dead. It was a gang of young boys that was there. I think this was happening near McDonald's or something. I cannot see this for some reason. They was investigating the cops about the guns and everything that was in the area, and unfortunately, shots were fired at 6:30 p.m. when the shootout. Notice I'm saying the shootout exchange. Stevens said at a press conference Saturday, 4 others have also been taken into custody. Law enforcement officers leave their loved ones every day and put their lives at risk just for things like this to happen. Now, we know that relationship with the cops kind of iffy and everything, but it's so sad that when they said 14 has been charged, the defense lawyer, you're going to have to do a lot with that one. Because, I mean, they're going to say, well, you shouldn't try him as an adult. This was a child, but this child knew how to fire a weapon. And just because they was checking him for the guns and everything, is sad because there's so many layers to this that we don't know. But unfortunately, like I said, the little boy is going to be tried as an adult. Anything you need to say on this, darling?
Well, we'll never get you to actually bring me into a thing. You just talking. Like, I'm through. You tell the whole story.
It's
and then but I don't know what to say about it. I mean, kids have been learning how to use guns for a long time. You get your gun with the rifle and and stuff like that. And nowadays, kids are, they take on the gun ranges and stuff like that. And so these games teach kids how to shoot with guns and stuff like that. They have guns with to go to the games. It's a different world than where we come from. It's just we don't have that.
That's not just a TV show.
We don't have that, parental guidance or worldly guidance that we don't want kids to have certain things at a certain age because they're mentally not prepared to understand how to properly handle such things, that especially dangerous weapons and stuff like that. But we teach our kids to at an early age to use this, and then they use it when they get angry and stuff like that. So it's a shame. We got 15 seconds. So that's just unfortunate. Okay, you got about 30 seconds, but that's were you gonna say something?
Yeah, this was on Facebook, and people were saying that's so bad that the cops were shooting at the kids, but the kids were shooting at the cops too.
Yeah.
So it's both lives were at stake. It's not, oh well, the cops shouldn't be shooting at the kid, and the kid shouldn't be shooting at the cop.
Yeah, well, it's a shame. It's a shame. All right, everybody, welcome back to the final 10 minutes of Let's Stay Together Talk Show. We're going to bring up our relationship letter to end the show. Baby, what you got?
Dear LSTT, this is Women's Month, and ladies, we have to do better. Every day, every month, every year. I witnessed discord the other day with two lovely sisters at an event. Unfortunately, the spotlight was not shining on one of them enough, and they saw that as an opportunity to tear and discredit the young lady that the audience was resonating with. She started a wave of naysayers to join in on her hatergate, and me and another young lady pulled her over to the side and told her that was not true culture. We are here to build up the sisterhood, not tear our sisters down. LSTT, the young lady went rogue on me and my friend went low. After the lady shoved her, she said, I can't do this no more, and she shoved her back. And so she let it all out and got into an altercation with her. LSTT, was she wrong for joining in the discord? Sincerely, ladies, we have to do better.
Wow. Was she wrong?
When the girl pushed her, she pushed her back.
I think the answer, is easy. Yes. You got to remember, I just said something, that Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. People are going to do things that you're not going to like, and they're going to act in ways that you're not going to like, unprofessional, and will have hatred for someone who's getting too much attention. These are just natural traits that we have as human beings, unfortunately, and that we share more than we do our kindness. The situation is this: you can't find yourself going to a low place where someone is already at a low place. You have to be able to stay neutral or be above that, or even just walk away, because you're not really being a great example by jumping down there or fighting with her, because now you're setting a bad example yourself as long as an individual. Now you got two bad examples. What you want to be able to do is just say, hey, sometimes you got to wipe the dust off your feet, as the Bible says. If it's not working, then sometimes you just can't change the mentality of an individual. And the best way you could probably do that is by staying in a higher ground and being more professional and spiritually guided, and not allowing that person to tear you down to their level. You never know. They may come back, or their lives may be changed from that incident, because they knew what they were doing was wrong, but they saw a greater example in front of them that they could follow. So be the example that you were saying you wanted to be, not the example that she made.
Amen to that. Sincerely, ladies, we have to do better. I read your question, and I get it, but as my husband just said, basically, you do have to do better and be the example. I know it's hard when someone physically assaults you and put their hands on you, as she did your friend, and you just want to say, Lord, bridle my tongue, hold my hands back, because I'm setting an example in front of all these other women who we poured this girl to the side to do just that, and it sort of boomerang and went to a whole different level. So again, I know it's hard when someone put their hands on you, shove you out the way, you want to react, but all eyes now are on you two. And if you want to make a bigger, better impression of how this is how sisterhood should be, let's just, cease, and you go your way, I'll go mine. I know that's easier said than done, but I always say, like Michelle said, when they go low, we go high. She went low and your friend went lower, but I'm glad you didn't, who wrote the letter.
She said, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here.
Up in here.
And she lost her mind.
She did. But thank you for writing us, and they can write where, babe?
They can write to Let's Stay Together Talk Show at gmail.com. All your letters can go to Let's Stay Together Talk Show at gmail.com. And when we see those letters, we will let you know when we will broadcast or talk about the subject. You know, I'm looking at something right now, and I've been doing this a lot. And I know me because I'm very focus driven. My mind is always focused. But I look so mean on this camera sometimes. I'm gonna have to work with that because I'm looking at Brenda. She just looks so radiant and beautiful, and I just look mean. And I remember one time someone says, you just look mean, and then this one lady says, Rick, every time I see you, you look so focused. And I said, oh. Loretta, thank you so much because that's how I'm focused. My mind is just thinking constantly, thinking, and you bring up the.
You don't turn that off, do you?
I don't. It's just constantly thinking, but I'm looking at myself on the camera and I'm like, Jesus, you look like some kind of an old fart that don't want to be here. And so I got to try to work with that look on my face because I'm like, man, even when we were talking to Dr. Campbell, and I'm like, man, smile, something, but it's just, I get that way all the time, and I got to work on that. So that's going to be something I need to work on. But it's just, I'm focused and I'm listening, and, if I got a question I got to do there, I do that. And so it's just, my mind is always thinking, thinking, what can you do? What can you do? How you do this? What does this look better? And that's why I was thinking so much, and then I looked at the camera, and I'm like, "My God, guy, can you look like you want to be here? Get it together, Rick. Get it together."
You see how he beat himself up? Beat yourself up, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna make myself happy.
What round is this? Is the beaming?
I don't know. It seems like I'm losing in each round. Hey, we hope you all enjoyed the show. I'm gonna let Kenny just play us out with some music when we get out here. Again, I want to thank our Rockford GOAT Kenny Crawford for making this show amazing, making it moving smooth. We want to give Dr. Campbell,
Kisa,
Dr. Kisa Campbell, who came on the show, and I've got to contact my girl again, Mac Williams, because I want to have her back on the show to talk about something as well. But we have some great people on the show. We hope you all enjoy it. And just make sure you listen to us each Tuesday between the hours of 7 to 9 a.m. 9 p.m. 7 to 9 p.m. only on Soar Radio. I want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ that I was able to get through this show because I'm tired. I have not been getting any sleep. My eyes are red. They probably thought I was taking some drugs at the job. His eyes are really looking red over there. But I'm gonna try to get some rest. And I pray that you all will pray for me as I'm still trying to go through this little sickness here. But baby, got any last words before we get out of here?
I'm gonna be a year older tomorrow.
Yes. Happy birthday!
The last of the 50s.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Yeah, and I know we got some time, but we never got to sing the whole song. I get in trouble if I try to sing the whole song. Because Facebook could probably say, you stole that Stevie Wonder song.
Oh, Lord.
But again, thank you all for listening. Make sure you listen to the JD Morning Show tomorrow between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. only on Soar Radio. We will see you all, Soar Radio people, will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Facebook, YouTube, thank you all for listening. Make sure you join us next Tuesday, 7 p.m. We'll definitely have another great guest on there so you can listen and talk to us. And if you'd like to be the guest on the show, you can contact us at Let's Stay Together Talk. Or if you know someone that would be a great guest, just contact us at Let's Stay Together Talk Show at gmail.com. See you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Bye-bye.